Hi, I am going to show you what I do to cover my PICC dressing before I get in the shower. This does not make it completely waterproof. I still have to make sure that the area is not in direct contact with the running water or with standing water, but at least it protects it, makes it a little bit water resistant, and allows me to take a shower. So what I have is an PICC. I have this because I am completely NPO, and this is how I get all of my nutrition and my hydration, as well as the mode of how I receive medication. So it is very important, and it is something that I need to keep safe and protected to allow me to continue living. So what I do to protect my area is I have sensitive skin, so I need to be careful with the things that I use. Now, my dressing is this, and it is going to be a 4 by 6 inch area that needs to be covered and protected with the surrounding area. So I start with my lines needing to come up and be secured, and I do that with this tape. It's NextCare Absolute Waterproof Tape. This tape does not stick permanently to the tegaderm. It comes off fairly easily. So I like to remove any extra bulk, so I take off my green caps. Everything's going to be protected, and when I hook back up, I will make sure to clean my ends very carefully. All right, so I take a piece of my NextCare tape long enough to cover where I'm going to secure my lines. Make sure it's kind of tight here. I want to make it as close to that 4 by 6 area as possible. And I'm going to take my waterproof tape that's a little bit cushy and flexible and just gently make sure that everything feels okay. All right, so now you'll see that my lines are protected in that same area. So for my very sensitive skin, I will be using a skin prep. And I like to put this on before I get my tegaderm ready, because the skin prep is going to take a little bit to cure. And while it's curing, I can get my tegaderm ready to go. So I will carefully open my skin prep. It is liquidy in there, so you don't want to drip it all over. I take it and carefully go around the outside of my dressing onto the skin that's going to be covered by the other tegaderm. And you're going to give it a couple of seconds to dry. And while I do that, I'm going to be prepping my tegaderm. So I'm going to flip you around, and I'm going to show you what I do for that. Okay, so I have my flat surface, my tegaderm. This is a 6 by 8. I do use 3M. Okay, so at this point, I locate where that window is, and I'm going to take that out. Now this is the sticky side. I'm going to sticky side up. What I have found works the absolute best is 2 squares of toilet paper. Now, what I do with 2 squares of toilet paper is I want to cover that 4 by 6 area of dressing, because if this tegaderm sticks to it, it's a permanent stick. So I need to make that little area in like kind of the middle of a Band-Aid that's not going to be adhesive. And this is where I take my 2 squares and I put it in the center, and I estimate, I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm pretty good at estimating what 4 by 6 looks like. and I create that in the center to protect the dressing from sticking and adhering to the tegaderm. All right, I'm going to flip you back around. I'm going to show you how, now that my skin prep is dry, how I cover. Okay, so now I'm going to look in my mirror and line up my 2 square bandage piece over my dressing and around the outside. Press, you can kind of tug a little bit to make sure it's tight and covers. And once you get it pressed, you're going to want to carefully lift up this last little piece of paper and carefully peel it off the edges, kind of going around behind and pressing too, because if that lifts up, it will make your edge not quite as secure. And then there you go, all ready.